The Galapagos tortoise, one of the most iconic and fascinating creatures of the Galapagos Islands, holds an incredible history and biology that makes it both a symbol of the region and a subject of scientific intrigue. These tortoises, known scientifically as Chelonoidis nigra, are the largest living species of tortoise, and they play a significant role in the ecosystems they inhabit. The Galapagos Islands themselves, situated about 600 miles off the coast of Ecuador, are famously known as the place that inspired Charles Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection, and these tortoises played a significant role in that revolutionary theory. Galapagos tortoises can live to extraordinary ages. Some have lived over 150 years in the wild. Their long lifespans can be attributed to both genetics and lifestyle. Tortoises are slow-moving, herbivorous animals that conserve energy, which may contribute to their longevity. The tortoise's metabolism is also quite slow, which allows them to go for long periods without food or water, in some cases several months. Their water-storing abilities are remarkable, as they can endure droughts by relying on stored fluids in their bladder, and they can survive on dew and the moisture from cactus pads and other vegetation when water is scarce. Their shells are large and dome-shaped, with some species having saddle-backed shells to allow for better reach to higher foliage, showing an adaptation based on the food sources available on the different islands. The shape of a tortoise's shell can indicate which island it originates from. For instance, tortoises from drier islands have the distinctive saddle-backed shell, while those from lush islands have a domed shell. Historically, the Galapagos tortoise populations faced extreme decline due to human exploitation. During the 17th century, whalers and pirates stopped at the islands to take tortoises aboard their ships. Tortoises provided an ideal source of fresh meat and could survive without food or water for months, making them a living food reserve. This hunting led to a devastating population decline, and by the 20th century, some tortoise species were nearly extinct. Fortunately, conservation efforts in the last several decades have brought attention to their plight, and populations are beginning to recover, though they still face threats. Scientists and conservationists actively work to prevent their extinction through breeding programs, habitat protection, and invasive species control. In terms of behavior, Galapagos tortoises are generally peaceful and move slowly, spending most of their day basking in the sun or foraging for food. They primarily eat vegetation, including grasses, cacti, fruits, and leaves. But they are not picky eaters and will consume a variety of plant materials. Galapagos tortoises play a critical ecological role as seed dispersers, especially for plants like cactus and guava, helping maintain the diversity of plant life on the islands. Their large size and powerful legs allow them to move through dense vegetation, creating trails that other animals can use, thus indirectly influencing the habitats of other island species. These tortoises have a distinctive and somewhat endearing appearance with thick, elephantine legs, small heads compared to their bodies, and heavy, high-domed shells. Each tortoise's scutes, or plates on the shell, are unique in their patterns, providing something akin to fingerprints among individuals. Their large shells can weigh up to 500 pounds, and their bodies can stretch over 5 feet in length. Despite their bulky appearance, they are surprisingly efficient in movement, and though slow, they are steady travelers, covering significant distances during migration periods within their island homes. Breeding and reproduction are also noteworthy aspects of Galapagos tortoise life. Males engage in unique dominance displays, stretching their necks and attempting to appear taller than their rivals. Breeding season typically occurs during the warmer months, and females can lay between 2 to 16 eggs in nests they dig into sandy ground. Once the eggs are laid, the mother tortoise's role is complete, and she leaves the young to hatch and fend for themselves. This low parental investment results in high infant mortality rates, as young tortoises face threats from predators like hawks and invasive species. However, those that reach maturity often live for many decades. The Galapagos Islands are home to around 13 to 15 recognized subspecies of the Galapagos tortoise, though several are now extinct. Each of these subspecies has adapted to the specific conditions of its island. For example, tortoises from Hispaniola Island have longer limbs and necks to help them reach higher vegetation, whereas those from islands with abundant ground foliage have shorter necks and limbs. These variations helped Darwin realize that species adapt over time to their specific environments, contributing to the theory of natural selection. Conservation efforts include the removal of invasive species like goats, which have decimated vegetation on some islands, and rats, which prey on tortoise eggs and young hatchlings. In some cases, tortoises have been relocated to different islands to help re-establish populations where they were previously wiped out. The Galapagos National Park and Charles Darwin Research Station have been central to these efforts, with breeding and reintroduction programs achieving significant success. Famous tortoises, like Lonesome George from Pinta Island, have drawn global attention to the importance of conservation. George was believed to be the last of his subspecies until he passed away in 2012, highlighting the fragility of these ancient creatures and the need for ongoing protection. These tortoises also possess an extraordinary sense of resilience. They can survive long voyages, as Darwin observed, likely because they can store food and water internally. This endurance likely allowed them to reach the islands in the first place, floating across oceans from South America. Their robust bodies and ability to tolerate salt water have made them natural survivors of difficult environments. The Galapagos tortoise is much more than just an ancient creature. It is an enduring symbol of nature's adaptability and resilience. It has survived volcanic eruptions, colonization, and exploitation, and it continues to play a key role in its ecosystem. Thanks to ongoing conservation efforts and the dedication of scientists, the Galapagos tortoise population is now gradually increasing, allowing future generations to witness these gentle giants and learn from the lessons they've taught about evolution, conservation, and endurance.